Morning. Today is the second day of February 2014, and we are here with my beloved friend Dhanvanti for the second time, and this time we are going to learn about her paintings and how Mother guided and taught her. Welcome, Dhanvanti.
Welcome.
How did you begin painting?
I think I spoke
You
about
did,
that last
you
time.
did a little bit, yes.
You want me to say that?
Just a little bit, just an introduction, and then we'll go into the individual paintings.
Yeah. So yes, in our school before here we didn't have painting classes separately. It was a part of the curriculum. But then once we started what they called the technical education, but in that there was also drawing and painting. But there was photography also. And actually I took photography. I did it for a short while. But then when I had to go into the dark room, I said I couldn't to be in that suffocating and that smell.
Chemicals, yes.
I couldn't stand it. And I said, if I do photography, I'd like to do from A to Z everything, not leave the other part to somebody else. So I gave it up. And as an alternative, I started drawing and painting. Jane Dillal took us to the library, and he straight asked us to sketch somebody who was reading there. Actually, it was Kalu Sarkar who was reading at the table. Yeah, I'd never done a portrait. I was wondering what would happen. So we sketched. And it came very much like Kalu Sarkar. I said, well, that's something. And I felt, well, this is the media, I have something to say. I was quite decided that I have something to say in this media. So I got more interested really, and it became my life after some time. I was doing all my other works too, but I was most preoccupied. So deep inside me something was all the time occupied with painting and drawing and seeing things, seeing colors, seeing the play of light and scene and all that. But in 2 years, I said I want to think differently. I didn't know what the differently was. So I started making some experiments. Quite a few, mixture of media, this, that, all kinds of chaotic things, whatever you might say. And I used to discard more or less everything. Then I did once some figures, just a few lines to give Englishman something in just a few lines. And I used to take to Mother some of my things every birthday because she had already gone up. So I took to her those paintings. And she looked at them for quite some time. Then she says, I'm going to say how she said to me in French and then English. Mon enfant, tu as quelque chose ici. Mais quand ça passe par là, jusqu'ici, il y a quelque chose qui se perd. Donc, tu dois être conscient jusqu'au bout de tes doigts. My child, you have something here. But when that passes from here to here, something is getting lost. So, you have to be conscious till the tip of your fingers. We all have something here. We all have something in our hearts to say. But when we begin to express it, something gets lost. So, what we have in our heart and in our brains, to make it come out through these fingers, Mother said, you have to be conscious to the tip of your fingers. Every nerve of your body will be speaking only that. You see that? That's what I tried to do after she said that. And I started painting more and more what I was feeling within. I learned not to have a thought. I learned. Painting this way taught me not to think. Just become a channel to express whatever wants to get expressed. No thought, no idea, just a state of being, a state of inner being where you felt almost like a mother who's going to give birth. Yes, I felt exactly that. And you see what comes out. You see yourself, what comes out from you. It's interesting because the you is not there. Me, I want to say, I want to paint, didn't exist for me. No, there was no I. No I. Such a beautiful state it is, not to feel the responsibility. Somebody speaks through you. Somebody be the vehicle only. It's a wonderful state. I tell you, I haven't felt such a liberty of flying in any other way. But there's something I would like to tell you, that while trying to do this with painting, I learned there's this consciousness to the tips of the fingers must come in every activity. That came later on. This understanding came later on because I started with that. But ultimately, I understood that what Mother and Shri Aurobindo wanted us to be conscious in every act of your daily life. Every. You don't have to go out. Your temple is in your house. Your Matrimandir is your heart, and your life is Auroville, wherever you are. Carry the Auroville with you when you go back. Carry the Auroville with you when you go back. Let people ask you, where have you been? What have you done all these days? Do that. Take that from here. This ashram is an oasis. You drink from the oasis. and carry it with you when you go to people and keep. Distribute that water because you have it with you even in it. Distribute it. Let people ask you when you return, where have you been? What have you been doing? Then you tell where you went. Don't broadcast you're coming from Auroville. Carry Auroville with you. They will find out. You went to an ashram. You went to Auroville. You brought something. Carry it with you.
Tell us about some of your paintings. We'll bring them to you and you can hold them right here.
Yes.
Where do you like to start?
Look at all this.
Yes.
Is there any one particular one that I want to tell one thing? That not a single painting here is an imagination. Each one you are seeing is an experience of mine. Each one. Not one is imagined. There have been some that have been imaginations and not really. Those I have rejected. I don't keep them. Only there where I feel it's totally somebody speaking through me and I am not there. I love not to be there. I don't even sign my pictures. I've been asked many times to sign my pictures. I said there is no place for me. There's no place for me. Yeah? This is very interesting. Now this picture will tell you exactly how I paint. You can put it on the chair.
I hold.
Okay?
Keep them coming.
Here, when this painting was born, I would like to say that because it was really born. I'll tell you. I'm really feeling full till here. I have something to see. I'm really flying somewhere, but I don't know where, nothing. So I kept my easel and everything ready because I know any time I'll put a stroke. For 3 weeks, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. Not a single line is coming out. Anyway, I have patience, I'm not in a hurry. I'm waiting. One day in the middle of the night, I wake up. I put only 3 lights. 1, 2, 3. You see? 3 lights. And the flying figure was there for me. The head had not yet come, only the body. I left it there. Another 2 weeks just went off. I didn't know what to do next. Then one day again, I came back from a walk and I took the chalks. Everything was ready. I came back and started painting. I put the head, put the colors, and the head came like this, looking up towards something. And I said, there has to be an answer from there. So the sun sent her its million fingers through the space for it to catch. the answer from above. There is no thought, I am just painting whatever I am being told. So I put the sun, finished the picture. I said, no, I must stop, otherwise I'm going to spoil it. So just when I'm going to stop, something tells me to fly towards the sun, your wings or your arms must be like the diamond, strong like the diamond. So you see, I put on the arms some kind of a spark, the diamond spark, finished. This is how I paint. This picture tells you exactly how I paint. You chose it so well. This is how I paint.
When did you paint this?
Long ago, 70s.
And you use crayon.
Huh?
You use crayon, watercolor.
No, this is a pastel, all
Yes.
pastel, dry pastel. Ah. Yes. Oh, I had once the feeling of being the bridge. Always dancing. Being the bridge. I had the feeling of the bridge. You see that? This hand is like this because it receives. And it flows through your being to the earth. You only let it flow. It's not yours. Nothing is yours. Everything you achieve on this earth is for the earth. You receive, you let it flow. You don't even see where it flows. You look only at what is coming. You're lost in that and let it flow. That's my bridge, the bridge. That is Shobindu. As I saw him inside me, my darshan, whatever I had, without picture, keeping any picture in front, but the way I see Shobindu in me.
Smith. I remember this very well. I remember it very well. Oh, it's one of my favorites.
You know, there is a line from Mother. I was not thinking of it, but I think it is there somewhere in my heart. Go deep inside the temple and you will find me there. I believe that was there in my heart when I painted this. You have to cross all this, come to the sanctum sanctorum of your being, and you meet your real self. This is very interesting.
Yes.
This is a story. This I did after about 6 months of no painting at all. It was during that period when I was trying to do differently. And one evening after playground, I come home and I take the handmade paper from our factory. I dipped it, I soaked it in water, absolutely under the tap. Put it on the board and started painting. No drawing at all, just colors. When I finished, I saw what I painted. There is a figure here.
Yes.
This is the road she has crossed. Come here. And before going further, she is just throwing a last look at what has gone by. Her hands are like this, and she's just looking once back at the road she has crossed. I call it a last look. I'll read to you what I wrote for this.
Yes. Reads.
A last look. Something stirred within. A great preparation seemed on. The waves of life just heaved in expectation. I began to paint. When I completed, I understood what happened and what I painted. A tall, stately figure on her way upwards turns round, casts a long, lingering last look. That far trailing white robe left its marks of purity and power behind. The past was done with, and there was yet a far to go. This has very definitely the lines of Shri Aurobindo in my mind and heart was. He has a poem called God's Labor. I have gathered my dreams in a silver air between the gold and the blue, and let them softly and wrap them softly and let them there, my jeweled dreams of you. Now wait, interesting. This poem is called A God's Labor. He has left his dreams there. Now his labor on this earth begins. It's a long poem. Then he describes how he comes down to earth, what he has to do here, what he meets here, what are the difficulties of being on earth. It's just fantastic. It's a whole life. And then finally, he says, in the second stanza he says, I had hoped to build a rainbow bridge marrying the soil to the sky. And so in this dancing planet midge, the moods of infinity. This is what he wanted to do on earth. But for doing that, there was a lot of work to do before that can be done. So then he describes all the work that he has done in his life. And at the end he says, the gulf betwixt the depths and the heights is bridged, and the golden waters pour. And then in the next stanza he says, now the children of paradise are coming down from the bridge. Clarioning darkness's end. So I have here the first and the last, both together. Here are the children of paradise coming, clarioning darkness's end. And this is the beginning where he leaves his dreams in the argent air. I have all of the poem inside me, which happens. And then the last. I haven't thought of all this, but I've gathered my dreams in a silver air. This was there in my, the whole poem was very much present with me always. It still is, because there are stanzas which have been for me only somewhere in the mind and imagination, something fine, but I never understood. It's only when I face things, life strikes you, that then, I understood a stanza. Wow, this is what Sri Aurobindo wants to tell there. This is what Sri Aurobindo wants to tell there. And so many stanzas gather more and more force as I am growing myself in life.
I have been digging deep and long, mid a horror of filth and mire, a bed for the golden river's song, a home for the deathless fire. What he went through.
All of you must read God's labor. It doesn't matter if you don't understand it, everything today. Just go on reading. Just go on reading. You will go on progressing. You will go on finding the truths hidden in every line. Wow, it's no joke. Even for these people to have lived here. We think, oh, they were so happy. Thousands of people coming to see them, but what they had to push away and how they did it, that's what we must learn. That's what we must learn. That's what we have to do with ourselves. You see, this is very interesting. I was feeling one day my head one with the sun. I was feeling one day my head one with the sun, part of the sun. And I wanted to show that it doesn't come as I wanted to paint. But still, I find there is something saying in that, and I called it illumination. Really the feeling of the head being one with the sun. It is a poem of Sri Aurobindo. I have sailed the golden ocean, I have crossed the silver bar, I have reached the sun of knowledge. That was somewhere there with me, the sun of knowledge. When you reach there, this is fantastically interesting. It is an experience absolutely lived fully in my life. I'm surrounded with many kinds of currents. I had to make a choice. Either escape or stand. where I am, in the whirlpool. I said, no, I'm not going to run away. I'm going to stand. I stood right in the middle of the whirlpool. The very interesting part is that I use the very force that could have sucked me to stand. That very force which could have sucked me, I use for standing there. That is what this picture says. How does it say? Watch. Every current, the force of all the currents comes at my feet. And I'm using that force to stand in the middle of the whirlpool. It's an experience of my life. This is no story. This is lived absolutely as I am telling you, absolutely as it is painted here. You know, Sri Aurobindo has a poem, The Yogi on the Whirlpool. Read it. This is a story that you must bring, that one also. That first one. The tall one. Yeah. Yeah, come. See. Now. This is what I feel. After your education and everything, I feel that we, after birth, first we gather life in. Through your senses first. Nothing else, only your senses. They are gathering life, everything, every sound, every sight, every taste, every touch. Everything is recorded in the computer of yourself. Nothing is deleted there. It's there. Then you grow up, learn to talk. You learn a lot from your parents, from the home, then school, then society, everything. You take everything life gives you. But you realize that it's a big burden you're carrying on your back. But you're still walking. You're still walking, carrying that big burden on your back that life has given you. But you have no grudge, no complaint. Life has given you what it has given you with love. Love gives you everything. But when that love gives in its own way, your love should accept that, whatever it is, even if it becomes a burden. But in your heart of heart, he knows that I have to now take this burden off myself. He knows. But he carries it with love. Because it is given to him with love. He loves life. So whatever life has given, he carries. So now begins the individual effort of everybody. What you do in your life. So you begin slowly to get rid of that burden. There comes a time when you lift your hands, making a last effort to let it go down your back. Now, I almost finished this picture. I made this to begin with the same color. Then something speaks to me, such an interesting thing. Something told me, when an individual in his or her own effort releases himself of the burden of ignorance that life had given him, not only he is released individually, but the general ignorance also becomes a little more illumined than before. So the color here and here is different. I was so happy when I learned this. I said, all my sadhana also that I will do is for the world, not for myself. I was so happy, so free. You can't imagine, Narad, what it was. This freedom. And not for myself, it's for the world. We are doing sadhana here for 70, 80 years. Not for ourselves, for the world. The individual for the world. The world is made of individuals, I told you some time back. That's it. So you see, I have grown, I paint. While painting, I grow more. I have grown and I paint what I have grown. But while painting, I learned something more. And I gained this freedom. It was there, but I understand it with my mind. When I came to realize that yes, this color becomes this color in the general consciousness. So whatever little effort you will make anywhere in the world to go a little different from that will be for the world, not your individual self. Just 1 minute, I want to complete this story. That picture is, I will show you in the book only. It is there somewhere, but I can't find it now. There is a third picture to this, which I call victory. Now see, the burden, getting rid of it. And the next, you begin to play a game with that horrible thing that was weighing on you. You play, it's a leela. You play a game. Just give it a kick, go straight to the goal. And you see the color? Deep, lighter, and so much lighter now. And the color is light, it is so light that you can play a game with. So that very thing that was a burden for you some time back becomes now a toy to play with. Both of them are embrace. This is God's embrace, this is Mother's embrace. Call whatever you may, but in both the cases I wanted to show. Here is the Mother lifting up the whole universe in her hands. Different kinds of souls with different kinds of illuminations make the earth, and the Mother is lifting the whole of it. There are so many colors to this earth. Aspirations, higher, lower, all kinds. High, low is not the word I would like to use. All kinds. So this is Mother's embrace. This is God's embrace. He's in the heaven, leaning down and clutching the whole earth. It's a bit tight. This is a bit tight. Actually, I painted this when I knew there was somebody far from me physically, in need of some help. I cannot reach physically, but I wanted to reach. I came home and I started painting and I finished it in 1 hour. I reached through my painting. Actually, I did. This is absolutely personal experience. That's it. Tell me what it is.
Yes. People are there, she says.
People are?
People are there.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
What are they doing?
Dancing.
Hmm?
Dancing.
Dancing, of course. Dancing.
Yes. What else are they doing?
Huh? Yeah.
What else are they doing?
Yeah. You know?
There is joy in their expression.
Yeah.
Yes.
Universal Ananda, I called it.
Yes. You got it. Good.
Universal Ananda.
Universal.
You know, in India, we have a word that we use, Vrindavana. Vana is forest. Vrinda is the forest of Ananda, of dance and Ananda. It's not somewhere on earth. Life itself is Vrindavan. And we are all flowers, plants, dancing in that Vrindavan. This is the feeling for me. I'm a part of life, dancing like the flowers. So this was the way for me. Now this is what I call the wheel of life. You see this figure? It's the soul's dive into life. The soul is taking a dive into life. This figure is life on earth. It has taken life It's leading its life. Now, in this stretch of arms, there is this feeling of swimming the ocean. We often call life an ocean that you have to swim. But life is also a lot to give you, which you have to, like a Hercules, carry on your arms. So this stretch of arms for me represents the swim and carrying all that life gives, again like that. Now, this being comes to this earth and gets tinged a little red from this earth. But from the very experiences that tinged her red, when she returns, or he, she's whiter even than when she came. From the experiences that turned you red, you have to go back even whiter. Jivan Chakra, I call it. Jivan is life, Chakra is wheel. That is birth, life and return, all the three together.
Going, descending initially into life is into matter, and that is red.
That is?
Red. Matter is red. And I see that.
Mother is all the colors also.
Yes, mother is, yes. And then eventually white.
Yeah.
Yes. Very beautiful.
Ultimately, you return. That is the meaning we give to life. We come here for a certain evolution.
Yes.
The evolution goes on from life to life. This is evolution.
Yes, definitely.
That's another experience, absolutely. It's very interesting. I was a little shaken with many things. Disturbed. I wanted a little. I wanted to get back my peace. I knew I won't be able to do it here for some time. So I went to the Kodaikanal Hills. I stayed there for 3 weeks. Interesting how nature gives you back your peace. This is absolute. I've really drawn from nature what I had lost. I was living in a cottage. As soon as I opened my door, I see nothing but a stretch of trees till the horizon. And I feel myself so small in front of this unending nature that I feel myself like in a nest, like a just born chick. It's nice to feel that rest in the nest. So I feel the nest. I feel also how small we are really on this earth. The feeling of smallness itself was not a defeat, it's not that. It's just that I'm a point only in life. You see? Then every day morning after my tea, I would just take any road and walk. Any road. While walking, sometimes I would enter the forest. And the trees there were so big, if three of us held our hands, we may not cover the whole trunk. So big. So when you sit in the forest, you don't see the trees, you see only trunks, columns. But when you sat there for some time, there was now and then a shaft of sunlight coming through the leaves, shaft of sunlight. And I loved that sunlight. I just loved that shaft of sunlight bathing me. So the feeling of the little bird in the nest, then the feeling of being bathed in the sunlight. And just in front of my room, there was a trickle of water. I can't call it a river, but the beginning of a river, a trickle of water running. Which if I would sit outside, it would tell me, leave everything behind, go forward. Leave everything, go forward. When I was there for 3 weeks, I made only a sketch with one, this, and here some cross lines. Inside, perhaps I put a little bit this and the chant. And I wrote under the sketch, my nest, my boat, my rest. Only pencil sketch and Kodai Karan. I come back here, after about 8 months I paint this picture. So this is the green of the forest. This is my rivulet flowing. This is my boat giving me the invitation, go forward. This is the shaft of light that becomes the sail of the boat. In that shaft of light there is Mother giving me the rest I needed. Whole story.
A few more.
It was interesting
Yes.
to notice what nature can do.
I live in Earth. And I know what you mean. The flowers.
And still I don't know why we are running away and away from nature. In spite of all the big noise we make about environment and this and that. Better not talk about it. This is a very deep experience. Actually, this is the transcendental and the universal. The figure behind is like a banyan tree. So often I see Shiva with the banyan tree. I see him as Virat Purush. When I sit at the seashore, before I used to spend hours at the seashore, and always in the sky I would see Shiva with those arms like that, the way he used to sit for our darshan. And it was like the whole world stretching. So Sri Aurobindo is for me that banyan tree, the Virat Purush behind, stretching out. Calling. We can, any one of us call. And she comes. This figure is the transcendental mother who leaves that place to descend here on earth. But she keeps her touch with from where she comes. She's in fully, whole body. She's just put her leg down. But she keeps the touch. You are part of life, and at the same time, you maintain your touch because you are that too. That's what is a fact of life. You are that. So hard. So.
Are there any others you would like us to see in particular?
Is absolutely from God's labor.
Mm.
Dig deeper, deeper yet, till thou reach the grim foundation stone and knock at the keyless gate. And he goes down. He leaves different layers of life. And he says, I found that a falsehood was planted deep at the very root of things, where the grey sphinx guards God's riddle sleep on the dragon's outspread wings. These two stanzas are in my heart. Go where none have gone, dig deeper, deeper yet. A voice cried, go where none have gone, dig deeper, deeper yet, till thou reach the grim foundation stone and knock at the keyless gate. You know, Narad, before I had painted this all in the same color, then I said, it's not a keyless gate, there is a key. There is a keyhole. I made the keyhole.
It reminds me of what Mother wrote.
Those two stanzas are in my heart when I'm painting.
And Mother wrote,
yes, about the doors she breaks.
yes, and also about, let me see, at the very bottom of the inconscient,
Yes.
most hard and rigid and narrow and stifling, I struck upon an almighty spring
Yeah.
that cast me up forthwith.
The two are together.
Yes, there it is.
Both are
Yes,
together.
yes.
It's there, all this is there in you. And it works and it expresses the way it wants. That's all. I have read. But what I have read, when it becomes a little bit part of myself, it expresses. I've read Shravando's poems, I don't know how many times. Yeah. So they have their effect, no doubt on me. But I don't start with his lines, not a single. Here, those two stanzas were very much present.
When you were painting.
Yeah, but I didn't think of anything. But when I was painting, when I did the sketch, the whole thing came to me.
A revelation after the painting.
Yeah. Here I have this picture I did with 16 students here in this room trying to paint. They want to know what Shravindo is and then they want to paint also at the same time. So I read to them the bluebird.
Ah.
And after having whatever we felt about the poem, everybody said what he wants, feels and says. It was very nice. And I said, now, keeping this in your consciousness, paint whatever you like. Just keep a threadbare of a link to what we have read now. So when they were doing, I sketched also. I didn't put the colors, I only sketched. So you see, there he says, I am the bird of God in his blue, divinely high and clear. I sing the notes of the sweet and the true, for gods in the seraph's ear. And then, I rise like a fire from the mortal's earth into a griefless sky and drop in the suffering soil of his birth fire seeds of ecstasy. Now, this bird can give to the earth whatever the earth needs because it has been a part of the earth. I am the bird of God in his blue, but it is of the earth. Then it flies. So it knows clearly what the earth needs. So I have kept a link with the earth, the green earth, but it has gone up and it is now shedding the fire seeds of ecstasy. Here I have those lines with me. This is almost illustrative but not totally. Yeah, this one painting is done with those lines in mind because they were all being with the lines in mind. Okay, that's, yeah, that's my favorite. That's my Krishna. Krishna is blowing in his flute. The flute is not visible. And whatever colors and movement is there is all laya and tal, music, the flow of music. This is my very, very favorite picture. You see, he had a kalgi, he always wore, but I have a fire there. That's the kalgi he wears.
I think it's just beautiful to end with this picture for today. Thank you so much, Dhanvanti.
It doesn't mean much to me as it may mean to others. What's really important for me is that I have lived this. a lot is due to my parents also. Yeah. The seeds were thrown by my father right from the childhood, right from conception perhaps. It is he who brought us here. We haven't come of our own research. He brought us here, telling me what I have found best in the world, I'm giving you. Make the best of it. And I have tried to make the best of it. The time, facilities. Here in this ashram, what I got was the right amount of water, manure, sunlight at the right moment so that I can bloom. But the seeds were sown by my father. I owe my father everything here. Don't forget, I would like to make it clear that my father and my mother have played a big role in what I am.
That is a great blessing. That is a great blessing to say that.
Yes. I'll tell you how. This is very interesting what I'm going to tell you. He was sort of bhakti yogi. He used to sing quite well. And right out from our childhood, we used to sing every day evening. All of us family would sit together and sing bhajans. All kinds of bhajans which I didn't understand then, but I just sang because it was rhythm and all that. But that which he made us sing, Sankti, how I will show you. One day I was in a little difficult mood, feeling almost dead. I finished all my work, came back and sat in this chair. And suddenly, in my being sprang a line that I had sung at the age of 7, and I'm sure I didn't understand a word. I'll tell you the line. It's Hindi, but it's very, very fine. सुधा सिंधु के समीप बसकर मूढ़ रहत क्यों प्यासा. I'll translate it. O thirsty one, standing by the side of the ocean of ecstasy, why are you so inert? Narad, my mood changed immediately. The ocean of ecstasy is in front of you and you cannot drink. What are you doing? You thirsty one, drink. Wow, I went and bowed to my father at once. I said, Father, this is what you gave us. Through singing that line at the age of 7, I learned what is the ocean of ecstasy. You see, what will make the 3-year-old in kindergarten sing? He's imbibing it so deeply. So it is very, very important that beautiful, receptive, tender age, we give the child the best care because he or she is going to do that in life. Another thing I'll tell you. My father used to sing a song which was like this. तू ले निलाव फरी नहीं मरे रे मूर्ख जोता नहीं जड़े तू ले निलाव फरी नहीं मरे. It means take the advantage given to you in this life. This life itself is an advantage given to you to grow. Take the advantage. Don't sleep. That's the song I sang at the age of 3-4. When I come here, Sri Aurobindo says, all life is a lavish and manifold opportunity given us to realize the divine. My father had quietly pushed me to believe this. He didn't say it in exactly the words of Sri Aurobindo, but he says, take the advantage. Life is an advantage given to you, an opportunity. Take, lay, means take it. You see, it's the most important thing in life is the child and the time of his life. This is what we are putting aside nowadays, I think. I don't know. Anyway, that's a different thing. So this is me. I keep no reserves. I just give like this. Whatever I am, I give. I have nothing to hide, nothing to keep aside. I'm an open book. Read it the way you want.